The boat is now decelerated, and at this stage I've touched nothing on the helm. The gauge is telling me that deceleration has finished. To activate set point, shift all levers to neutral. Because we've input the gauge that we wanted FishPoint in doing that, we are now set in FishPoint and ready to drop a line. What does FishPoint do? FishPoint essentially gives you the ability to hold a position. Now that is with either the bow or the stern into the prevailing conditions, whichever is strongest on the day. Now there's two ways that we can engage FishPoint, and as we've seen, we can do that with the track point feature, where the boat decelerates and then we pull the levers back to neutral to engage FishPoint on the mark. We've found some slimy mackerel on the screen here. We may want to drop down onto them. All I'm going to do now is hit FishPoint, and now FishPoint bow is activated. The reason I've selected FishPoint bow in this situation is we're faced with an offshore swell here today. What I want to avoid is a swell basically breaking over the back of the boat, so by holding the bow into the conditions, we feel nice and safe. FishPoint stern is really handy in flat water, where you might have a situation where the anglers on your boat want to fish from the bow, opposed to fishing around the engines at the back of the boat. When we arrived to this spot, we managed to sound some bait. That bait has now disappeared off our screens. So what we can do is we can make some fine-tune adjustments without moving too far from our original position. To make that adjustment, we simply knock the joystick. Now we can knock it forward, backwards, or to the sides. Every time we do that and it beeps, it's going to move 3 meters or roughly 10 feet. And we can also change how big those increments are. For example, if I hit the joystick now forward 5 times, it's going to move the boat 15 meters or roughly 50 foot. Because FishPoint is for fishing, we have the ability to adjust our thrust levels, keeping the RPM and the engine noise to a minimum. To do so, we've got the plus and the minus button on the joystick. So to increase the thrust levels, we obviously use the plus sign. To decrease the thrust levels, we go down with the minus side.